Okay, this is a recording of the Rode Lav II Mic going through the Focusrite Scarlett, including the VXLR Pro adapter, and I have gain of 4.9 decibels added. And this is a recording of the cheap £10 Generic Lav mic going through the Focusrite Scarlett with the VXLR Pro adapter, again with 4.9 decibels added. And this is a recording of the Rode Lav II Mic going through the SoundBlaster X-Fi card with 3.5mm to a 1/4 inch jack adapter, and I've applied gain of 2.3 plus decibels, which makes it exactly the same volume when running it through the Focusrite card. And this is a recording of the cheap £10 Generic Lav mic, also running through the SoundBlaster X-Fi card, 3.5mm to 1/4 inch jack. Again, 2.3 decibels added, so it is exactly the same volume as the Focusrite card. Okay, so final thoughts. There's the two mics here. You've got the cheap mic and the SoundBlaster card, is what you're hearing now. And you've also got the Rode Lav mic with the Focusrite and the VXLR Pro adapter. As I said, this costs a hell of a lot more, 128 quid more than this cheaper setup. Difference being is that's the Focusrite card mainly, and this is the SoundBlaster card. And what I found is actually it's more to do with the SoundBlaster card. But even so, that SoundBlaster card gives more clarity. There's no processors on it or anything. It's all flat response, nothing's added. Same as the Focusrite card. But between the two of them, this sounds better, this card. Okay, this Focusrite would probably do better in the Pro Tools DAW situation which I've got, but I'm just for testing reasons, and I do use this OBS software to do my voiceovers over games. So that's what I'm using it in, and there's my findings that this £10 mic with the SoundBlaster card sounds a lot better. Even if I swap the Lav mic from Rode, £80, and put it in to the SoundBlaster card, the £10 card is just more clear. Now, if you notice, the volumes are exactly the same. Look at the peak there, 5.5, exactly the same. Although the difference here, the only difference is what I've done to them is add gain, because I need a bit of gain because I can't get it here. I could add a little bit more gain onto this with the volume gain knob on the Focusrite Scarlett, but I'll start clipping, you see. So these are exactly the same, and you have to do that, because if I don't do that, your ears and your brain will tell you that the louder one sounds better. It always does. So this is a fair test. Now if I go back and swap them over again, and we're back on the cheap £10 Lav mic, Generic from Amazon, and the X-Fi SoundBlaster card. This combination works better than this combination, and this Lav mic works better in this combination on both rather than the Rode £80 mic, in my opinion. Yours may be different. As you see with the SoundBlaster one now, the gain I've added is 2.3 plus decibels. If I look onto the Rode mic and look at the filters, the gain is 4.9, so if I had to add more gain here, as I say, I can take it up, tweak it on the card itself. So, you know, take not much out of that. They both got noise suppression on, otherwise you get a bit of interference on this card here, both mics, and this card here, both mics. So that's the difference with the gain I put on with the filters. Again, no effects whatsoever. So what you're hearing is just two mics, two different cards, both at the same volumes, or damn near it, you know. Two, if I look at that there now, in fact, I could go a little bit higher there. You know, you could add a bit more onto that, but I found it's more or less the same. But what you've got to ask yourself is, in total conclusion, this cost £12 without the card, cheap mic and an adapter. This cost £140, £80 for the mic, £40, no, not 140, sorry, 120. It was £80 for the mic, £40 for the adapter. Now, is there a difference there? What's that? 120, take away 12, 108. Yeah. Is there a difference of £108 between these sounds? No, definitely not. In fact, this cheap £10 lav mic sounds better to me than this Rode Lav mic going through the Focusrite, or even if you swap them into both cards, as you've seen earlier. So let's listen to them once again before you can make up your own mind. As you look at the peaks here, look, see, they're more or less exactly the same, so that's not influencing anything, the volumes. So again, this is the Rode Lav II Mic, £80 with the £40 adapter going through the Focusrite Scarlett. Take that off, and this is the cheap generic £10 lav mic going through the SoundBlaster X-Fi card with a 3.5mm to 1/4" jack adapter. Not only that, the lead is much longer on this. Take no notice of the £6, got that wrong. Yeah, so it's much better, the lead's longer. The lead on the Rode Lav II mic is too short, for me anyway, where I want. I had to move my sound card. Plus the clip, yeah, it's a nice clip on that, but I actually prefer the cheap clip. They're both metal. And they're both like 6 inches away from my chin, right next to each other on my t-shirt. So we've got the same distance away, we've got the same volumes, or damn near it. We've tested both cards with both mics, vice versa. So it's a pretty decent test overall, but make your own mind up. You know, save yourself £108 and go with this, or spend all the money on this. I must say though, in fact, I've got to say, the VXLR Pro adapter, that was again plugged in when I'm doing a cheap mic. Obviously I can't take that out. So if you had it through the Focusrite Scarlett, you would still have to buy, say, that £40 with the cheap mic. But as I say, that setup there sounds a lot better in my ears anyway. I'm listening through some Sony MD 706s are they, like flat response, decent speakers, cans, sorry. So again, this is the lav mic, once again, SoundBlaster X-Fi card, cheap as chips. This is the Rode Lav II mic, plus the adapter, better sound card, a bit more muddier, not as clear. And now, don't forget, you know, most people will put an EQ on. I can add an EQ here, you know, that one, or I could go to a plugin I've got there, a better EQ, but they both do the same thing. And that's what I would do if I kept this, because I'm thinking of sending this back. If I kept this, I would actually clean it up. I would make it a little bit more clearer and roll off some of the bass end and make it sound more like the £10 card, £10 mic. So that's the Rode Lav, and that's the cheap £10 mic. Don't know what you think, but for me, the cheaper one beats it. Plus, the SoundBlaster X-Fi card really does make a difference.